Hello and welcome to the third in the Adobe eSignatures video series, Adobe Acrobat Advanced eSignature Options. I'm Mark Middleton, Adobe Business Development Manager. In the first 6-minute video, Electronic Signature Overview, I covered what electronic signatures are and the legality and advantages of eSignatures. In the second 28-minute video, Adobe Reader and Acrobat eSignature Options, I discussed and demonstrated 4 eSignature options in the free Adobe Reader and Acrobat, including drawing your signature on both a computer and touchscreen device, creating and applying a signature stamp, and uploading a PDF to our newest eSignature option, Adobe EchoSign, and then sending it out for signature. In this third video, I'll pick up where the last one left off. I'll discuss and demonstrate 2 advanced e-signature options, self-signed digital IDs and digital signatures with third-party certificates. I hope this will spur you on to view the next 2 in the series, supercharging Acrobat with our newest e-signature option, Adobe EchoSign. And lastly, a demonstration of the various options in the world's #1 online signature service, Adobe EchoSign. One tip, on the upper right, you can click the full screen button either during the presentation or the demonstration. Okay, on to the agenda. I'll first explain, then demonstrate 2 additional ways to sign a document, form, or contract using Adobe Acrobat. First, I'll cover self-signed digital IDs. I'll explain what they are, and then I'll demonstrate how to create and apply one. Then I'll explain what digital signatures are and how they compare to e-signatures. I'll create and apply a digital signature. And lastly, I'll upload a document from Adobe Acrobat 11 to Adobe EchoSign to send it out for electronic signature from Acrobat, just as I did with Adobe Reader in the last video. Okay, let's get started. As I mentioned, I have a slide to review each e-signature option, and then it's on to the demonstration. The first option I'll cover is creating and applying a self-signed digital ID. A self-signed digital ID is a type of digital certificate that's been in Acrobat for quite a while. A digital ID is a file on your computer that identifies who you are. You can create a digital ID in Acrobat and use it to sign your documents. It's inexpensive. Actually, it's free with Acrobat. You can lock down the document. You can exchange your digital IDs with others, and Acrobat or Adobe Reader will warn the recipient if someone has changed the document after it was signed by the digital ID. That's an improvement over the e-signature options I showed you in the last video when I changed text and images in Acrobat after it was signed with no notification that changes had been made. And then there are digital signatures. For personal or small business use, you would start by buying a digital certificate from a third-party certificate authority like Entrust, Symantec, GlobalSign, VeriSign. There are about 30 of them. You usually have to show multiple forms of ID to be issued a digital certificate, or your organization, who already has seen your ID and knows who you are, can buy a certificate for you. So the third-party certificate authority who issued the certificate functions as a trusted third party that verifies your digital signature as an authentic credential. In other words, Acrobat or Adobe Reader will automatically ping the third-party certificate authority that will verify the signature. If you trust the third-party certificate authority like Symantec or Entrust, you trust the digital signature. I'll show you how to obtain a digital certificate to use for stamping your digital signature on documents. In larger organizations, it's a bit more challenging. In that case, your IT department would implement a public key infrastructure known as a PKI scheme. The definition of PKI infrastructure is, I'm quoting from Wikipedia, a set of hardware, software, people, policies, and procedures needed to create, manage, distribute, use, store, and revoke digital certificates. So what's the difference between digital and electronic signatures? We often hear these terms bandied about. Well, all digital signatures are electronic signatures, but the reverse is not true. So what's different about digital signatures? Digital signatures have a cryptographic element based on PKI. That's private key, public key infrastructure. In order for trust to be created between 2 parties, these keys or cryptographic sequences need to be exchanged. The key exchange requires a supporting infrastructure that can be difficult and expensive to implement and maintain. Because software has to be installed on every signer's device and on your servers, it's typically only used for signature workflows internally behind your firewall. So digital signatures are usually a last resort for strict regulatory workflows that require it. Think about your own organization and where digital signature infrastructures are used. So that takes us to the last signing option I'll be presenting, Adobe EchoSign, that's built into Acrobat and Adobe Reader 11, although you don't need Acrobat or the free reader to fully use the service. In other words, Acrobat 11 can be used as the front end to create a document, form, or contract that can be uploaded from Acrobat or Adobe Reader to the back end, which is Adobe EchoSign, that sends it out for signature. EchoSign handles the sending, the routing, alerts, management, reporting, archiving, etc. The advantages include an easy process for you and others to get documents, forms, and contracts signed securely by multiple signers and approvers. Plus, it manages the whole process from sending your document to letting you track where it is in the process of getting others to sign it, all the way to archiving at the end of the process with a complete audit trail for your records. An advantage is that Adobe hosts this service for you, so you don't have to install anything on your servers, computers, or the devices of the signers. Plus, we handle all the upgrades and updates so that the next time you access EchoSign, the new functionality is available to you. The best part? Just click Send Signed Document in Adobe Reader or Acrobat to kick off the process. So let's turn to a demonstration of these electronic signature options in Adobe Acrobat. I'll switch from the presentation and I'll share my screen. So I created a form in Microsoft Word. And you can see that at the bottom here, I just used underlines to sort of create my form fields. And then I just did a file and print, and I printed it to PDF, or I could have gone to the Acrobat ribbon here and I could have created the PDF from here. So I'll close Word, and I'll open this PDF that I created in Acrobat, and I'll head down to the bottom, and you'll notice that on the left I've got a signature block for geometrics to sign. I've got the authorized signature, print name, and job title, and then I've got the same for Adobe Systems over on the right-hand side. Notice at the top I've got a green bar. It says a signature field has been detected, and it wants to know if I want to open the sign pane. If I want to close that, I can close that here. I do want to open the sign pane, but if I first want to show you that I've got a tools pane here, I've got a comment pane over here. This would look the same in Adobe Reader, and then in the middle I've got the sign pane. And this is where I can click on three. I've got three choices for panels. I need to sign, get others to sign, and work with certificates. So in this case, I'm going to be showing you self-signed digital IDs. So in this case, I need to sign, and I need to click, and I need to place my signature. So under Place Signature, I've got a Choose a Signature option pull-down menu here. And in my last video, I typed my signature. I used a webcam, which just puts a face in the back of the signature that you draw using your webcam. I drew my signature, and I used an image of my signature, and that was just something that I had scrawled my signature on a white piece of copy paper and scanned it in. And in this case, what I need to do is I need to use a certificate. So I'll click on User Certificate, and the dialog box gives me detailed instructions if I need them. It says to continue, click Next, and then click on the digital signature field you would like to sign, or draw where you would like the signature to appear. Once you finish dragging out the desired area, you will be taken to the next step. So I'll click on Next, and it says, drag that new signature rectangle, and I want to draw it right between Adobe Systems and right above Authorized Signature, so I'll just draw it right there, and I'll just let go. This works the same on a Macintosh as it does on a PC, which I am currently using. It asks me for a password, and it shows me sort of the standard text appearance of my self-signed digital ID. And when you get Acrobat or Adobe Reader, you just go to Preferences, and you just put in, under the Signature tab, your name and your title, organization, whatever information that you want to include in your digital ID. As a default, you'll get the standard text appearance, which is just my name with the Adobe logo in the back, and then digitally signed. It'll give me the date and time. In this case, it'll just be the date and time of my computer. If I want to change the appearance, I just click on the drop-down, create new appearance, and then I can give it a title. In this case, I'll make it my signature, and then click on Import Graphic. I'll click on File to browse for my signature, and there it is right there, and I'll just click OK. And you'll notice it'll give me a preview of that. Looks fine, so I'll click on OK. I'll make another appearance. This one will be my picture, so I'll call this Picture. Click on OK. I want to import a graphic, so I'll click on the file. And this time I want to browse for my picture, and mark picture is right there. I'll just put that in. I click on OK. Click on OK. And now I've got a few different options. I can use the standard text option. I can use my signature option, or I can use my picture option. It asks me for a password. I'll put in the password that I created when I created my self-sign ID. Also, I can lock the document. So if you notice down here, I've got a little a checkbox that I'll just click to lock the document after signing. And that's probably a good idea if you don't want anybody to alter the document. So I'll click on Sign. And of course, it's going to ask me to save it for the changes to take effect. So I'll save this to my output file, and I'll call it Sample Agreement Signed. And I'll click on Save. And there it is. You notice that's it. It puts it right on the document. And if I close this and then I open it back up, a couple of things you'll notice right off the bat. And this will happen when anybody opens this document, either Acrobat or the free Adobe Reader, pretty much any version. It'll let you know automatically if the signatures are valid. And also, if I click here, it'll take me directly to the signature panel. So I get that nice blue ribbon experience that this document has not been changed since it was digitally signed. If somebody tries to hack this PDF, this blue ribbon up here turns into a big red X, and you'll know right away that something's wrong with this document. I can't make any changes to the document. If I go to Tools and I go to Content Editing, if I want to edit text and graphics, it's not going to let me edit anything because I have actually locked this document. You can see that, some of the other options are grayed out here. Of course, the problem is now that the countersigner can't sign the document down here at Geometrics because this document is locked, unfortunately. But if I hadn't locked it, again, someone could have cleared my signature, altered the text of the document, and so on. An advantage to these digital IDs, these self-sign IDs that come with Acrobat, is that you can share your self-sign ID with someone else so that they can send theirs to you, and you have two trusted parties sending documents back and forth. However, this only works for personal use, as most business transactions require a digital ID from a trusted third-party provider called a certificate authority. More on that in a minute. Another disadvantage is there's really no verification of identity. Anyone could have created this self-signed digital ID if they had gotten a hold of your picture, or if they'd have gotten a hold of your signature. They could make it look very prominent that this was your signature, and they could stamp this digital ID on all of the documents that they want and send them out. Everybody will assume that you signed them because it's your digital ID, right? But appearances can be deceiving. So on to digital signatures. I'll close this out, and let's open up another sample agreement here. And notice that under my sign panel, at the bottom, I have this panel that says Work with Certificates. And under my Work with Certificates, I've got a number of options. The first one is Sign with a Certificate, and that'll allow me to use my self-signed digital ID or create a new one. You notice if I click on it, I get the same options that I did before. I would go and I would draw my signature on there. The second one down is Timestamp the document. That allows me to choose a timestamp server so that the date and time comes from a third-party source instead of my computer, and this will accompany my signature. So that's how you would do that. Validate all signatures is useful if the signature status is unknown or unverified. Usually by default, when an Adobe Reader or Acrobat user opens a signed document, it'll automatically check to see if the signature is valid or not. But If the signature status comes up as unknown or unverified, you can click this and validate the signature manually to determine the problem. And then I've got a couple more options. I've got the option to certify with a visible or an invisible signature stamp. Either way, anyone who opens my certified document will get the blue ribbon experience that my signature is valid and hasn't been changed since it was signed. To obtain a digital certificate from a third-party certificate authority, click on either the Certify Digital or Invisible option. Just like applying a self-sign digital ID, I'll get a dialog box, and it'll instruct me to drag a new signature rectangle on my PDF. It cautions, in this case, what certifying a document actually means and what it entails. In this case, it says you're about to create a certified document. By certifying a document, you vouch for its contents and enable recipients to verify that the document came from you. Certifying a document also adds tamper resistance to detect and prevent unwanted changes. To certify a document, you need to have a digital ID. If you intend to distribute this to a large audience, it's suggested that you use a digital ID from one of Adobe's partners. This will allow any recipient with Acrobat or Adobe Reader to automatically verify the certification. And since I send my signed documents to a lot of Adobe Reader and Acrobat users, I'll click on Get the Digital ID from an Adobe partner. When I do that, it will take me to a website, and it'll give me the option to choose a third-party certificate authority from the list. Here we've got Entrust, Global Sign, Kinectus, Post-Trust, and Semantic. I'll start with Entrust. So I go to Entrust website, and you'll notice that a digital certificate costs for an individual $449 a year, and I can click on Buy Now for that. If I close that off and check the next one, Global Sign, Global Sign has digital certificates that start at $395 a year. The other nice thing with Global Sign is that they offer you a free trial. So if I click here on the free trial, I believe it's a 90-day free trial. You just click on your region, select to continue, and they're, of course, going to ask you for proof that you are who that you say that you are. But it's nice to have a trial account. That way you can see how digital certificates work for you, and it's easy to sign up for that. So once I authenticate myself to Entrust or Global Sign or any other third-party digital certificate authority and receive my electronic credentials, I can visibly or invisibly digitally sign as many documents as I want. That was a brief overview. As I previously mentioned, type Adobe Digital Signature Guide into your search engine, and you'll find the complete free guide with much more information. Okay, that brings us to the last option, the last eSignature option I'll be covering today, Adobe EchoSign. I'll open my sample agreement with EchoSign Ready Form fields, and that's called the sample agreement _ prefill, and I'll click on that. And if you've used the Forms feature in Acrobat before, you know how easy it is to create form fields. In Acrobat 11, you can create EchoSign Ready Form fields, which means that these are signature-related fields, things like signatures and names and titles, and it would be your initials and timestamps and so on and so forth. But I get it ready in Acrobat. More on this really in the next video, which is Supercharging Acrobat with Adobe EchoSign, and I'll show you exactly how I created this form. But for now, I'm just going to upload this document to EchoSign. It's great if I need to get somebody else's signature. I'll click on Get Others to Sign, which is the second tab down under the Sign pane here. And it says, do you need others to sign this document? Just click on Send for Signature, and underneath you notice it says Powered by Adobe EchoSign. So I'll click on the Send for Signature tab, and it's uploading the document to the Adobe EchoSign server. And remember, the server is our server, so you don't have to worry about getting your IT department to install it up on your servers. Okay, it looks like my document has been uploaded, and the document name is automatically populated. You know, notice here it's _2 sample agreement. That's the name of the document or the PDF. I'll just clean this up a little bit. And I'll just send it. All I've got to do is put in, it's very much like email, the person I'm sending it to. I'm sending it to Geometrics, remember, because they need to sign this. And the person I'm sending it to is Michael Edwards at Geometrics. And down here, it's asking me if I need to add my signature to this document. I'll have the recipient, in this case Geometrics, sign first, and then I'll sign last. I can change the order back and forth if I want to here. And when I'm done, I'll click on Send. And that's really all there is to it. If you notice, it comes up, it tells me that the sample agreement has been successfully sent for signature. A copy has been sent to you. In this case, this is joeadobe@ymail.com, his account. Sample agreement has been sent for signature to Michael Edwards at Geometrics and Joe Adobe. They will sign sample agreement in order, one after the other, and as soon as the contract is signed, all parties will be emailed the fully executed PDF agreement. And I can set reminders and so forth. Again, for the rest of the EchoSign demonstration, check out the second half of my last video or my next video, Supercharging Acrobat with Adobe EchoSign. Okay, let's wrap it up with a couple of slides. Head back to the presentation. And that concludes an overview of advanced eSignature options in Adobe EchoSign. Make sure to watch the previous video, Adobe Reader and Acrobat eSignature options, for 4 more options, plus a more complete Adobe EchoSign demonstration. And I hope you'll join me for the 4th video in the series, Supercharging Acrobat with Adobe EchoSign. I'll explain how EchoSign fits into the Acrobat product family, how it's integrated with Acrobat, and I'll demonstrate how to create an EchoSign-ready form, document, or contract in Acrobat, and then I'll upload it from Acrobat to the EchoSign server, and then I'll send it out for signature. And lastly, a demonstration of the various options in the world's #1 online signature service, Adobe EchoSign.